What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Flowers. This is my series where I go over some of my favorite albums, classic albums, and I just like to give them their flowers. So today, I'm going to be talking about Tupac, or should I say Makaveli, 7-Day Theory.
Makaveli in this Killuminati all through your body.
The whole title is the Don Killuminati 7-Day Theory, but we just call it, some people just call it Makaveli, or they just call it 7 days just to shorten it up. But this is my favorite Tupac album of all time. I think this is I love Me Against the World. I love All Eyes on Me. But this one, I think when an artist hits their, and it's sad to say, but when an artist hits their pinnacle, I think this was his pinnacle moment right here. I think this is the album he always wanted to create. With All Eyes on Me, I felt that was like Suge's album. That was like the commercialism. At the top of it could be, that was his best selling album. But this one is like Pac on his like refugee Black Panther shit to the fullest on like at 25 years old. And to me, it sounds like it's a very eerie album because all the stuff he pretty much premonitioned in the album came true. Like the way he ends the album with all against all odds, and it came out 2 months after his death. So it was like even the cover is him being crucified on a cross. Like it's a lot of stuff around this album that just makes it eerie in a way. I think it's his best lyrical album. Like I know Me Against the World was very lyrical, but I think just the time it took for him to record this album, if those don't know, 7-Day Theory, he changed his moniker to Makaveli, which is crazy because like what artist hits their, I guess, well, Prince didn't do it at his peak, but what artist hits the height that he can go, and then the next album is like, yeah, I'm changing my name to Makaveli. like that's like the most typical Gemini artist shit of all time. And again, it came out 2 months after he died. We only got one video with him actually in. Well, two. We got Toss It Up and we got To Live and Die in L.A., Hail Mary. He wasn't even in the video. And it was released within the same year of All Eyes on Me. So it's kind of like he was eager to get out of his contract. He had signed a 3-album deal. All Eyes on Me counts as 2 albums, and then Makaveli would be the last album. This is all the speculation. But all those reasons is why it's my favorite Tupac album. Like, yeah, even the subject matters on this album is just he reached like that Don status to me, like Don Killuminati. Like he reached it with this, like the bravado-ness, everything. The paranoia and back against the wall stuff he had on Me Against the World was like amplified on this one, but was a little bit more polished for me. So let's get into it. Oh, sorry. I forgot. Before I get started, I lost a bet against my dad, and I had to give him a shout out on this episode. There you go. There's your shout out. And this is like one of those albums again that he and my mom would listen to all the time growing up. I remember my mom playing this CD like it was Anita Baker or something. But this, yeah, like that's how much I heard this album growing up, which probably constitutes why it's probably one of my favorite Tupac albums. But anyway, let's get into it. The album starts with Bomb First, and it's Bomb First, my second reply. And it's kind of like I guess some would call it like a Hit 'Em Up Part 2, and it starts with like a press release for the album, and it's like Tupac changed his name to Makaveli. Why'd you get this motherfucker started? Like he's going that Biggie, Mobb Deep, Jay-Z from Hawaiian Sophie Flame, and a bunch of other corny sounding New York motherfuckers. And then like he comes in with that over like it's not about East or West, it's about power, money, niggas and bitches, riders and punks. Which side you on type shit, and then the gunshot, and then he just comes through the fucking picking through the lock, coming through the door, blasting type shit. Like, allow me to introduce first Makaveli the Don, spitting spiritual lyrics like the Holy Quran. Niggas get shook like 5-0. Like that, just to start the album with that aggression is like the shit that I love. I love when artists gets to the shit. So let's just get to it. Let's just go out fucking in a ball of flame. Let's just go. It's always the folktale of like Suge shot me at the beginning of it. And no one knows what that means, but it definitely sounds like Suge shot me at the beginning of the album. If we know, leave in the comments what you think it says, but it definitely sounds like Suge shot me. I don't know. Which leads to the whole mystique of just Tupac, the death. He's in Cuba. He's here. He's still alive kind of thing. It just goes into this whole, it feeds into the whole allure of Tupac. I just love the way this song starts the album off. Like, and to think he's the biggest rapper at the time, and to think like he felt like his whole back was against the wall and he's coming out shooting at everybody, you would think he was the underdog, which is always a cool thing. You get the Outlaws on there, which I gotta give it to Tupac. He's like one of the few rappers that just put his crew on. Like, they're like on pretty much half the album, if for lack of better words. Like, they're in here a lot, so much that people became Outlaws fans. Like, yeah. And the fact that he recorded this album, what was it? It was recorded in 3 days and mixed in 4. That's the whole theory behind 7 Day. So I could have that backwards, but that's the theory of the album. He was recording songs in like 30 minutes, which is just insane. And then to go into Hail Mary, which is, I don't even know what I could say about Hail Mary that hasn't been said. It's like, it's one of those songs that, for me as a fan of hip hop and just a fan of Tupac, it's a song that always takes me back, because I'm like, have we ever heard a dark song that had so much commercial success? And like it's very commercial, but it's so dark. Like, that's one of the darkest songs Tupac's ever made. That's very dark for that to be a commercial record. And also it just adds to the lore of Tupac. I remember watching the video, and it was supposed to be like a representation of Pac's death and him resurrecting as Makaveli, but he wasn't even in the video, and that shit was scary. The lights going off in the house. Imagine like a 6-year-old kid watching that on Rap City, like, all right, I'm gonna go in my room now. This shit is wild. Tupac was also like, just put yourself in my shoes as a 5-6-year-old. Here, listen, I know this is off subject, but listen to Hit 'Em Up, and at the end he says, "My fofo, make sure all your kids don't grow." I was like, this nigga's like Candy Man. I need we should go to bed. My shit was all like, that really fucked me up as a kid. And then the opening lines, I think, of both verses are just so fucking dope. Like, he opens the song with, "I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy next to getting pussy." I think that's probably one of the most quotable rap lines of all time. And then the second verse, he like, "Penitentiaries is packed with promise makers, never realize the precious time that bitch niggas is wasting. Institutionalized, I live my life a product made." Like, much too hard and for a smile, like, too crazy to be humble, we ballin'. Like, it's just, what the fuck was he on when he made that record? And again, that song was said that song was recorded in 30 minutes, bro. Like, he wrote both verses in 15 minutes. Do you understand how focused he had to be at the time to knock out those historic verses in 15 minutes? Like, it's like he knew, like he just knew. That goes into Toss It Up. To me, that's probably just the song that just the most commercial song on the album to me. It sounds like it could live on All Eyes on Me. I really don't have much to say about Toss It Up. I love, besides the fact that his two verses are totally different. Like, he starts it off with, "Lord have mercy, mama help us all. But you find your phone number, I can't help but call." And it's like a girl verse, but then the last verse, he just like get into some hard Tupac shit and start dissing Dre. "Pick one trick, punk trick with a dumb move, cross that road. Now who you gonna run to? Look with them suckers, cause you similar. You claim it to be hard. Oh my God, check your temperature. Screaming Compton, but you can't return." Like, how you put that verse on Toss It Up? Like, Tupac. He's the only, like, that's some Gemini shit to his finest. The nigga went from a girl verse to fucking dissing Dre, and the next verse, the last verse in between Jodeci and fucking Danny Boy. To Live and Die in LA. Love this song. I really didn't like not understood, but fully adjust this song or digested this song until I moved to Los Angeles, and then you realize like all the little stuff he's dropping in, and you kind of understand the culture which he's talking about. Wouldn't be LA without Mexican, like, or remember K Day? You don't know those like K Day is probably one of my favorite radio stations. Like, you just wouldn't know those things. Me from Maryland, you just wouldn't know those things. Just in Maryland, you just think it's rap lines, but once you come here, you get the it embodies the culture here to the fullest extent. It's like California Love Part 2 without gay ass Dre. His words, not mine. More, and you're probably likely to hear that song every day on the radio. That and California Love. Okay, Blasphemy. Come on now, that's one of my favorite songs on the album. I think the lyrical and storytelling that took place on that song, that just Pac, like he has lines like the first verse is like God level. The second verse is God level. That song itself, before I get into it, that song itself is just, to me, it seems like Tupac's not battle, but his recognition of God, but having doubts within religions. So that's what I take that song as. To me, that song is as real as it get when he just starts it off with, "My family tree consists of drug dealers, thugs, and killers, struggling on the hustle, screaming, fuck they feelings." And then like he goes into like, It's 10 rules to the game, but I share with you too. No, niggas gonna hate you, but whatever you do. Now, rule 1, get your cash on MOB. Less money over bitches because they breed in V. Now, rule 2 is a hard one. Watch for phonies. Keep your enemies close, nigga. Watch your homies. It seemed a little unimportant when he told me I smiled, but pitching Jews being handed to an innocent child. Like, and I remember what my papa told me. Like, that shit is just... like this, he has a line that when I was in my teenage years I just love. They said Moses split the Red Sea, I split the blunt and rolled a fat one. I'm deadly. Babylon beware, coming for the Pharaoh's kids. Retaliation, making legends off the shit we did. I could go on for days. These lines are just like, they're just, I just love that song so much. And then what's the line he say? We probably in hell already. Our dumb asses not knowing. Everybody kissing ass to go to heaven ain't going. I put my soul on it. I'm fighting devil niggas daily. Plus the media be crucifying brothers severely. That shit is just next level writing. Goes into Life as an Outlaw. And again, he just sounds like such a... He sounds like such a big dog at the time. And you got to remember, he was only 25. Like, that's still young. Like, the way he was speaking and the way that he, for lack of better words, fathered the outlaws, especially on this song, is just like the way he talks to Napoleon. Like, would you ride for me? Would you die for me? These are kids compared to him, but essentially he was still a kid himself. Well, I explained the game. Niggas ain't listening, stuck in position. And then he goes into blinded by my passion and fury. Look at me laugh at my competition, flashing my jury. Or like, guard but still breathing, believe in me, and you can see the victory. A warrior in Jews, can you picture me? Life as an outlaw. Like, that nigga, like, what? Like what were you reading? Like, you know the background he comes from, but it's just like, jeez. And then that last verse, I think the Outlaws, for the most part, showed up on the whole record, but that last verse by Napoleon, which I mentioned, where he says, would you ride for me, would you die for me? Like, hell yeah. And then he goes, we all know that roaches and parasites, snakes are all alike, thug like, break like, drink till we fist fight, life or death, but you can't win with it, something like that. Like, it's just, he brought out the best in the like, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this, you saw the video with Pac in the studio with the black sweater and the death row chain. He's like, man, like, he's just discussing the process of making a song and things of that nature, which kind of leads to the next song, Crazy, which was meant for the Outlaws to be on, but nobody wrote their verses in time. Like, again, Tupac was writing these songs so fast, like, he recorded all these songs in 3 days. Sorry, I skipped Just Like Daddy, but I'll just give you a backstory of Just Like Daddy. That was supposed to be in the Outlaws album, but Tupac wanted to teach them how to make girl records. He felt like they were making too many hard records and people gonna love that, but you gotta make songs for the women, and that's what that song was. Pretty cool. But going to Crazy, it's the Outlaws supposed to be on it. They took too long to write their verses, so Badass came in and saved the day, kind of thing. Like, just his work ethic he was putting in, man. Throw that nigga on the track. The last word he said, that's the hook. Bounce that shit. Let the producers and mixers handle that shit. We the rappers, we spit out verses. Like, that shit sticks in my head to this day. But Crazy is one of those special songs. Probably one of my favorites on the album. To this day, when I listen to it, when he said, I see Bloods and Crips running up the hill, looking for a better way. My brothers and sisters, it's time to bail, cause even thug niggas pray. Hoping God hit me. Into the game, look how much I changed. I'm no longer innocent, a casualty of fame. Made a lot of money, seen a lot of, I can't even go into, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. But like, everything on this album is pretty much a quotable. Like, he was such in his bag. This album is just ridiculous. And even the live instrumentation and things he was doing with the beats is like how he took, if you seen Thug Angel 2, how he took the B-list producers in Death Row and made this album opposite. Like, if you came off All Eyes on Me, which is quadruple platinum, and your next album, you like, I'm going in the B room, I'm gonna make the hits out of this room that nobody make hits out of, I'm gonna take the producers that nobody make hits with, and I'm gonna craft the album. It says a lot. And Badass came through with amazing verse. What was the line? It's something about the paper with the pictures of the president's head, and damn, it's like a motherfucking plague. It's spread. It's epidemic. That verse is ridiculous, bro. And I even love the part at the end when Tupac just going off all the weed and shit. Like, chocolate tie, Buddha, lamb's grass. I'm fucked up in here. And the Hennessy don't help. The Thug Passion don't help. Like, that song is just amazing. Transition into White Man's World, which is a little bit more lax tempo wise. I think this whole album is a little bit like a low tempo, besides like Bomb First and Toss It Up, but everything else is like pretty much, it's a low tempo. Like, it's kind of like total opposite of All Eyes on Me. But White Man's World, to me, that's the letter to his sister and mom. It's so dope because, like I said, he was 25 years old, and if you think about how self-aware he was at that time, it takes people to reach their 30s and 40s to even become self-aware of the things they put out can affect the people around them in a way. So I always appreciated that song for that. And it sounds like he wrote that while he was in jail. Like you could tell like he was saving ideas and stuff for this album instead for like All Eyes on Me. Like he knew what he had to do with All Eyes on Me. But the second verse on here where he's like, being born with less, I must confess, only adds on to the stress. 2 gunshots to my homie head, died in his vest. Shot him to death and left him bleeding for his family to see. I passed his casket, gently asked him, is there heaven for G's? That's like, he always wanted to know, was it G's in heaven? He said, my homeboy doing life, his baby mama be stretching, shedding tears when the son finally asked that question. Where my daddy at? Mama, why we live so poor? Why you crying? I heard you late night through my bedroom door. Now do you love me, mama? Why they keep on calling me nigga? Get my weight up with my hate and paying back when I'm bigger. And still thugging in this jail cell, missing my block, hearing my brother screaming all night, wishing they stop, proud to be black. But while we act like we don't love ourselves, don't look around, self-check yourself, know what it means to be black, whether man or girl, we still struggling in this white man's world. Like, what? Like, like, it gives me chills just reciting that. I recite that whole thing because that shit is it's just magical, man. Like, he's like a once-in-a-lifetime artist, like I said on my Me Against the World review. It's just things that it's only one Tupac, man. Like many try to duplicate and reinvent and get their tattoos and thug lives and all this shit, but it's only one Pac, and verses like that proves why. And he's giving inspiration to the young black males and young black females at the end. It ain't them that's killing us, it's us that's killing us. It's not them that's knocking us off, it's us that's knocking us off. Pay attention or become a victim in this white man's world. Bought you some shells when you turn 22. It's true, nothing compares to the satisfaction. Like he says in line about 9. Picked you up when you was 9. Started out my life of crime with you. Bought you some shells when you turned 22. It's true. And then have the girl like, what? I'm blasting on you niggas. What? What's that? I think that's just dope. And my favorite part in that song is just obviously the song itself, but one of my favorite parts in the song is just at the end when he goes off, lost in the whirlwind, 96 Bonnie and Clyde, me and my girlfriend doing 85 when we ride, trapped in this world of sin, born as a ghetto child. Like I just love how he repeats that, and think of all the stuff that came from here. I think like Eminem's 97 Bonnie and Clyde, Jay-Z 03 Bonnie and Clyde. It's so many things that stem from this song, and that beat is just dun 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 dun. Like the beat itself is just dope. Hold Your Head to me is one of those keep your head up records. One of my favorite parts of that song, he says, miss me with that misdemeanor thinking, we fall back, never that too much tequila drinking, we all that. Hell no, this ain't my policy, everyone with me is family. I just think just the way his delivery on that song is one of my favorites. He got a line that says, these felonies be like prophecies begging me to stop because these lawyers getting money every time they knock us. Like, hear what he's saying? Like, these felonies be like prophecies begging me to stop because these lawyers getting money every time they knock us. Switch my name to Makaveli, had the whole game both. It's just dope. And then like even at the end when he's telling people like we know this life shit is rough. We know the trials and tribulations that this life shit can take you through, but you got to get through this shit. Like whatever it is, get you a book, get you a drink, some weed, get you some pussy, do something. Like you got to get through this shit. So Pac again, always uplifting. And then it's funny he just said that and then go to Against All Odds, which is like when I listen to All Odds, Against All Odds, I see like the final scenes of Scarface, like when Scarface is on the balcony and shooting down at everybody. My little friend scene, like I feel like Against All Odds is like that. Like if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out in a blaze of glory. It's gonna be on my terms. I'm gonna get everything off my chest. Like you told me don't go to war unless I got my money right. I got my money right now. I want war. All the people he's going at in the song, Puffy getting bribed like a bitch to hide that fact he did some shit he shouldn't have did, so we riding for that. And the homie that was down with me rested dead, switch sides, guess his new friends went in there, probably be murdered for the shit that I said. I be a legend, be the real and breathing the dead. Like, then he goes into this Nas like, God don't like ugly. It was written. Hey yo Nas, your whole damn style is bitten. You sound like Rakim. You read my you stole my melodies. Read about my life in the papers. All my run-ins with authorities, felonious capers. Now you want to live my life. Like he was going on Tut, Jimmy Henchman, Haitian Jack. Like he just let it off. Everything. This was like the real truth of that quad studio shooting. And you know, I read an interview where Nas said like he cried after he heard the song because he's such a Tupac fan, and like he basically didn't need mean any malice towards Tupac at all. Like he looked at Tupac as an inspiration even before the Death Row days. Like Tupacalypse Now, Tupac, and saw how great he was and how prolific he was. And even after that, Nas said he had no ill will towards Tupac. And also it was a moment, I forgot, maybe I want to say Vegas or Los Angeles, maybe New York. They were in New York. I think it was that either VMAs, and he ran into Nas at a party, and he told Nas like, I got a song on my album dissing you. If you're a real nigga, you wouldn't say nothing. That's how, like, and Tupac was just wild, man. And from Snoop perspective, when he told that story, he was saying like Pac said that like he was a big dog, and which he was, but he didn't realize Nas got the whole Queensbridge behind him. At any moment, this could crack off to crazy. It could have been crazy, but it ain't about sunning or anything. It's just that what's done is done. And maybe the song wouldn't have made the album if Tupac was alive when it was released. Like it came out 2 months after his death. I'm pretty sure he wanted these songs in there, but maybe after that conversation he was like, take Against All Odds off, or let me rewrite that verse, or things of that nature. Or maybe he just felt like, I'm an artist and this is my shit. I felt this at the time, so you gonna hear it the way that I felt at the time, and I respect that as well. You know what I mean? And at least he told him like, I got a song on my new album about you. If you're a real nigga, you wouldn't say nothing. So that's kind of dope. Let's get into best songs. Favorite songs for me, I'm gonna go with Blasphemy, Crazy, and White Man's World. I think those songs are just top notch. Worst song in this album, I'm gonna go with Toss It Up, just because it just sounds so out of place within this album. Cool song, but it's just so out of place. Best line, I'm gonna just restate it from the White Man's World, when he says, shedding, but this is my favorite line. Shedding tears when her son finally asked that question. With my daddy and mama, why we live so poor? Why you crying? Heard you late night through my bedroom door. Now do you love me, mama? Why they keep on calling me nigga? I get my weight up with my hate and paying back when I'm bigger. That's my favorite line on the whole album. That brings tears to my eyes every time I hear it.
Hoping my true motherfuckers know this be the realest shit I ever.
Let's close this thing up. 7 Day Theory is my favorite Tupac album. I'm gonna say this for the 1,000th time. It's just so dope, and it's so a part of my childhood. Growing up, you finally understand everything involved in it. I think it's his best lyrical album. Some people might say it's not his best beats and things of that nature, and they'll give that to All Eyes on Me, which is cool. But I think this one is just, man, he was at the top of his game with this one, and it's sad because he was 25, man. It sounds like he was just starting. Like his career hit a reset at All Eyes on Me. So like, consider it like a second album in a way. Like, and it's also sad that he premonitioned everything, but it's also dope because we got it. He was able to tell his truth. Like this is the last recording of official album before his death. That everything else is just songs laying around and put together. But this was his last album, which makes it even more special. I just think he was at his peak with these verses and songs and subject matter, and I could play these records. I can't wait for my son to get a little bit older, and I'll play these records with him. And like, you hear what he's saying? Like, you hear what he's saying on what? You hear on Blasphemy? Like, you hear what he's saying? Like, these things, they're like lessons in themselves, and I just love 7 Day Theory for that. For that reason alone, just the messaging and the knowledge that you can learn from it. It ain't just preaching at you. It's like your OG talking to you, and you take lessons differently from your OG than you would take from your parents. Like, you know what I mean? So, and it's because they're just cooler, you know what I mean? But that's it. I just wanted to give Tupac, Makaveli, 7 Day Theory, his flowers, let you know how much this album means to me, my upbringing and everything else. And that's pretty much it. So, flowers for Tupac, 7 Day Theory. I'm Tatum. Peace.